Someone says, when are you solving problem? I blow my car and everyone are blowing their cars. Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Certainly not everyone's
Stage 3 plus TTE A10. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, sorry you're having a problem. There is no E problem that we're aware of. The E85 tunes and the E40 blended tunes,
E60,
and E60 make the most power. And so, horsepower and load is directly correlated to the possibility of blowing your engine anytime. Every time you increase the power output of an engine, certainly an engine that's designed for 350 horsepower, and you go to 750, 800 crank horsepower, you are getting closer and closer to the edge of what that engine's capable of dealing with from a power standpoint. There's nothing inherently unreliable about E85. I don't think we aren't the only company that offers E85 tunes, right? BMW, every performance car aftermarket has E85 tuning. So it sounds like this particular person may have cracked a piston. There does appear to be somewhat of a piston reliability problem from Audi. We don't know. We don't have anything to show exactly why these pistons are cracking in half. There's nothing in the tuning. There's nothing about E85 that makes a piston crack in half.
and there's been we've got dealer techs who've had many cars come through with
stock
the same issue.
Yeah. So this cracked piston.
It's not necessarily a tune thing, but it is potentially exacerbating whatever is going on in the stock hardware.
Yeah, the pistons fail in factory OEM tuning applications, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Everyone isn't blowing their motors, so that's not true. The number of failures are still very, very small. We have the data on that. We know how many engines are having issues, and it's still a relatively small percentage. But there's nothing wrong with E85 or E60, so there's reports that Audi's looking into this, that there could possibly be a recall at some point about pistons. There's a possible issue with piston skirts, but nothing in the tuning that we know of is causing these engine failures.
Yeah.
Even some of these, there's been some people who have verified like lambda in the 0.78 range, and that's very rich.
Yeah,
very, very rich.
Yeah, and we do offer multiple levels of the stage 3 file to provide a bunch more power than stage 2, but still not going for the maximum output.
We're the only tuning company that offers 91, 93, and we have standard output and high output files for our e-files. So if you're concerned, you can lower the power output and move more away from the possibility of a failure by running lower power. But if you want to make 800 horsepower, you're gonna get close to the edge, and some people are going over it. Every motor is a little different, and some of these factory pistons just aren't holding up as good as others. So it's hard to say exactly. We don't have all the answers on why specifically these pistons are cracking. It's not like we are hiding any information or anything like that. We're studying it and collecting data as quickly as we can. I think we are approaching a time where these motors do need rods and pistons. It's kind of crazy that we're in a market where customers are going from 350 horsepower to 800, and some motors are failing because that's a lot. That's really pushing it far. So we're currently building motors and I think at some point it may make sense to recommend rods and pistons for stage 3 high output files if you want to ensure that your factory piston's not going to crack in half.
And to be clear, we still have not had a failure in-house on any of our development vehicles with the amount of abuse we've put them through with any of these setups. So we're testing the crap out of everything we can here. Getting a lot of miles on them too.
The other challenging thing is, we have not that many customers who've blown motors, but the relatively small number that we have had, very few are willing to cooperate with us to tear the motor down, to give us any information. Yeah. A lot of these guys just go straight to social media and bash us or whatever, and we don't even know. We don't have the opportunity to even study that specific failure. We haven't blown any motors here on any of our cars.
Right.
We have stage 3 cars with 50,000 miles on them, driven very, very hard. So it's to say that kind of the atmosphere out in the social media world is productive, would be false. It's a very challenging atmosphere, to operate in, with trolling and bashing and customers jumping to conclusions, not willing to do the work to get to the bottom of why something's happening. And there's just a lot of hysteria out there. So we're doing our best to make as much of it as we can, but it also isn't easy from an engineering standpoint to deal with some of the dynamics out there, because it's just not productive to finding out what's really going on. But I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with E85 or E85 tunes. E85 is a safe fuel that runs cooler combustion temps and has a very high octane rating, so the chance of detonation is greatly reduced. I've heard rumors that supposedly someone is making the same power as E85 on a 93 file. Have you heard about this?
Mm-hmm.
I think
you can push and push and push, and
you can push it really, really hard, and especially if you dumb down the NOx sensors, you can run a lot of timing. Yep. And engines make a lot of power when they're pre-detonated. But you've blown plenty out of the shop. Stop the lies. I don't think so. I'd love to know what this person knows. We're not lying.
We've lifted head gaskets. We've done a bunch of stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's maybe, if this is the guy, there's one guy that had his stock plugs melted, and is that the guy that kept running with the melted plugs?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. But no, I mean, we've done a lot of stage 3 cars. They're local here. They're not blowing up. We literally wouldn't be able to be in business if we were blowing up lots of cars, especially through a service department.
And he took a sip. What's in the cup? It's water. Yeah.
Yep. There's another question about improving fueling. We are working on giving the fuel system even more headroom, but our standard output files have plenty of fueling headroom, and even our high output files are running pretty rich lambdas. So there's really not, unless you have an injector that's clogged, which we've heard of blown, we've inspected or received information about.
We've had some injector sync back, and we have found, yes, there have been injector issues.
I mean, if you blow up your motor and you send us your injectors and 2 of them are running at 50%, then yeah, that makes sense. We've seen engine failures due to melted spark plugs, which, again, spark plugs need to be changed pretty frequently, especially on high output stage 3 cars, as often as every 3,000 miles. We've heard of people having misfires and continuing to run their car until it blows up. But again, these are pretty rare. We have 10, 20 times more customers who are enjoying their cars and having no issues. So, I mean, before you call me a liar, dude, I've been in this industry since '96. You you don't get to be where I am from lying for 25 years. So I don't lie.
Well, and it's tough too with all these, like, people love
bad
to just
strategy.
lob facts without any factual information behind them.
Well, there's lots of lying.
What
out
examples
there.
do we?
You have Mario, who's posting quote unquote blown motors from us on a regular basis with no
And then
information.
there's zero follow up.
No information. Yeah, and this is that guy's a liar. He's literally posted fake draggies. I've never been caught for lying in this industry ever. I'm not that stupid. I mean, I wouldn't let myself get caught lying. I wouldn't lie. Lies get revealed. You can't cover up the tracks of your lies. So it's just better to just face the truth, which is what I do. Yeah, I mean, 034 Motorsport is currently one of the most reputable tuning companies in the world. And it's because we're honest and transparent. Because Nate and I come up here every week and look you guys in the eyes and tell you the truth. I'm sorry if you had any problem with your motor, dude, but we're not lying.